I'm so glad you're here listening to the Sustain Your Passion podcast. I'm Genesis, your host and business development expert. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and income while helping others, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to help you sustain your passion. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 11. Today I'm going to answer the question that I know has plagued so many people's minds, mine included. Am I actually good enough to do the thing I really want to do? Am I totally in over my head? And is it totally crazy for me to try and do this thing that so many other people do that they probably do better than me? Like, who am I to think I should be doing this thing I want to do? So if you've ever had that anxious feeling, if you've ever doubted yourself, if you've ever felt like you were an imposter, you are going to love this episode because I fully relate. A lot of my clients do too, and I have some thoughts that I'd love to share with you. So first off, just to like the too long didn't read it, yes, you are. 100%. There is no arbitrary decider of these things that can decide if you are good enough, ready enough, or worthy enough to pursue what you want to do. You having that desire is enough to allow yourself to pursue it. Now let's get more specific. Like, that's my belief, right? And you might be thinking like, oh yeah, that's just Genesis. She's a coach. She's always a hype girl. She believes in everyone. Yeah, that's true. That is me. I am professionally a hype girl. And I also have a lot of education and career experience helping people make career decisions and start businesses that are in alignment with who they are, what they're good at, what their strengths are, what the world needs, etc. And then actually going and getting that job or selling their services. So as much as you might be thinking, oh yeah, that's Genesis, she's just a hype woman, I also want you to know that I have had a lot of really hard conversations with people that are to the effect of, no, you're not ready to do that thing. No, I don't think that's going to sell. Nope, that doesn't make sense. Or no, I don't think that's ready to go to market, whatever that offer is or product. And I do have really high standards. As someone with OCD and ADHD that went undiagnosed till my late 20s, I learned how to be a perfectionist really early because I realized my brain didn't work the way other people's did. And so I made a lot of perceived mistakes, or I wanted to behave in different ways than other people. And I internalized that meant that something was wrong with me. And so I went above and beyond all the time. That's why I was the overachiever that was in honors classes, that was working at 15, that was volunteering, that was student body president in high school, that went on to earn 2 honors diplomas during my bachelor's degree, was in the honors college, blah, 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 got a master's, volunteered, worked, Woman of Achievement Awards. Like, literally, I am driven by my love for doing good work. And so I have high expectations of those that I help too. So if you are questioning, am I good enough to do the thing I want to do? I hope you hear what I have to say on this podcast and take it to heart and don't just brush it off as, oh, she's just a coach and that's just what she says to everyone. Because there are a few things that you can ask yourself to decide, am I ready? Am I good enough? And then there's a point where you have to leave it up to the market. And I'll explain that in a minute. So the things that you can do to ask yourself, am I really ready? Or am I good enough to do what I want to do, right? So I'm going to be speaking specifically to the person that is a new entrepreneur that wants to start their own business with services based on skills that they have from previous hobbies or jobs or learning, what have you, right? I'm talking to the person that is nervous about branding themselves in such a way that positions them as an expert that helps their audience know what they do and don't do, that really niches them down enough to where they are owning their specialty. And they're struggling with that. So if this is you, buckle in. So first, the thing I want you to consider is, why do you think you care to do this at all? Like, where does that drive come from? Are you as driven to do what your best friend does for work? Are you interested in what your partner does? Would you want their job? What about your mom or dad? Are you doing exactly what they did? No, right? You're doing your thing. You found what you're passionate in. So I want you to consider, why are you even in the position of considering offering this skill or service in the first place? Where do you think that comes from? My belief is that it comes from an interest that you have been cultivating for probably way longer than you're able to even see or acknowledge, so that you can be of service to others in that way that you have an interest for. So I'm going to take photography for an example, and then I'll talk about coaching. A photographer that's brand new that might be thinking, am I actually ready to start niching down and positioning myself as an expert in photography? They're probably the person who has had a camera in their hands as often as they could. They're the person that takes all the family pictures. They are the person who everybody wants to be behind the camera when they're doing group pictures out at dinner with friends or family. They're the person that notices little details in design, that when they're looking out at a landscape in real life, right? Like when they're looking out at the ocean, they're thinking of what they would frame in a shot. And they always have. They look at lighting different than other people. The sun is setting right now as I'm recording this, and I'm noticing like there's different lighting between that tree and this tree. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what that means. I see it's different, but I'm not really sure. But a photographer that's ready to serve as a professional photographer and own that's their skill set is probably looking at that same difference in lighting that I am, or could be, right? They would look at this same situation of lighting differences, and they would see, well, this is how you would want to position the person, right? If you were taking a picture in front of that tree versus this tree. They know these things. Whether it's because they've studied it, which means they like it a lot more than most people, because out of all the things they could have been studying, they chose to read about, learn about, hear about, study about, whatever, practice, learning about lighting, which is very different than what other people would be doing with their time. Your interests matter. Your questions that you have about your craft matter. It means that you have been inherently interested in the subject for a long time, which in and of itself means that you have more skills in this area than the general population. So there's that example for the photographer, right? Now let's talk about for a coach. Let's say you're a coach and you're nervous about actually owning your position as a coach, and you've been dreaming about it for years, but you haven't actually told anyone, hey, I think I'm a coach. I think I'm a good coach. Like I could coach you on that, right? You're probably the person who was told you had an old soul as a kid. You're probably the person who loves reading quotes, thinks deeply about poetry, is the person all of your friends and family call when they have a problem and need to be uplifted. You're probably the best listener you know. You probably have been the source of joy and light and insight in so many people's lives since before you even recognized it in yourself. It's inherent in you. You're probably also the person that reads self-help books. You might journal. You might read more than others. You probably ask really great questions. And you have seemingly endless patience for people that are struggling to learn things. And you genuinely want to help people. You are the person that if you see a car is stopped and the person's trying to push it out of the road, you probably stop and help them. You have a deep compassion for people and their suffering. You want to help them. That can't be taught. That's in you. That is who you are. So if you're ever questioning, am I ready to do the thing I want to do? Am I ready to actually market myself? Am I good enough to be XYZ, right? To be a coach, to be a photographer, to niche down, to start a business, to be a dog trainer, to start my own massage therapy business. If you are sitting there thinking, I really love this thing. I have learned a lot about it. I know more about it than most of the people in my life, except for the people that have decided that they could do it for their career and have pursued it longer than I have. I really love it. Maybe I could help people with this skill set I have. You're ready. Yep, you're good enough. That is enough. That's literally all you have to do to be good enough is have the interest. Because here's the thing I was going to say about the market, right? You as a service provider, as a coach, you are responsible for getting to know what it is that you do and don't do, right? That's your branding, that's your offer development. And then when you go to market it, it's not up to you anymore whether or not your offer is something other people should buy. This is where having healthy boundaries around money decisions and sales is really important. You can believe that you're not good enough, that you could, study another 5 different topics or go take another certification, or that you could, broaden your scope a little bit more or whatever, right? You could believe that you're not good enough, have an offer out there, and someone could still buy it because it's not up to you. It's up to them. But if you don't shift your mindset towards recognizing where you are is good enough for someone else to be able to make the decision of if they want to work with you or not, you will never put your work out there. You will never put an offer together. You will never market yourself. And inevitably, that means you will not make sales and you will be self-sabotaging. And don't get me wrong, there are all sorts of fucked up reasons we believe that we aren't good enough. But if you have the interest, you have developed skills, you have education, experience, and passion for what you do, you owe it to yourself and the people that will hire you to just put it out there and see what happens. Let other people decide if they want to work with you or not. So here's the thing I want you to take from this episode. If you have a desire to put your work out there, if you are interested in being of service to other people with your skills and putting together an offer and trying to help people with whatever passion you've cultivated, where you're at is good enough. Because if you don't get started now, you can't see what the market really needs from you. You can't learn what you might need to actually invest in more to become more skilled or better positioned for actual sales, right? Like if you have your passion and your interest to put something out there right now, you develop an offer and start talking about it, you're gonna get feedback from the market. The market, which is the people that will find you, that will respond to your offer, that will give you feedback, they will tell you if you're good enough or not. And they will give you way more specific criteria for ways you could grow than that mean little voice that's in your head right now saying you're just not good enough. And you never will be. So I really encourage you to challenge that nasty little belief in your head. And you can do that by getting started asking, who has said that to me before? Who has made me doubt myself before? And then also, who am I comparing myself to when I think I'm not good enough? Because there's probably a person you keep thinking of that's like the best in the business, the person you need to strive to be. Like, get real clear on who you're comparing yourself to and who convinced you you're not good enough. And then start rewriting those beliefs so that you can take the step forward and put yourself out there, go to market, get some feedback, and then grow. Because once you start your business, you will continue growing forever. But if you don't let yourself get started where you're at, you can't start that journey. All right, I hope this was helpful. I know there was a bit of tough love in this one, so if this one stirred up some pain, some traumas, some past hard memories, just want you to know that you are safe. You don't have to do anything you're not ready for. And there are people that will love you exactly as you are and that are just waiting for you to show up and invite them into your world. I believe in you. And if you need help turning your passion into your paycheck, you're invited to learn more about my group coaching program on my website at genesisrose.com/passion to paychecks. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Sustain Your Passion podcast. If this episode helped you gain a bit more clarity, courage, or confidence, please share it with your friends on social media or in a text. It would mean the world to me. Thanks in advance for sharing this episode. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.